Going up the slope along the name of this business facility, there is an elevator for vehicles. This time I'll talk about the vastness of Koshien, which is about 5 Tokyo domes. I will introduce the Seita Town Center, a commercial facility complex that used to be a department store. It used to be a department store and it opened a little before the bubble era. There are still some traces of its former name. It has a gorgeous exterior and facilities. The design was intended to mimic a German aesthetic. Even at first glance, it's clear that it doesn't resemble a typical commercial building. Also, at that time it was a hot topic and the car elevator attracted a lot of attention from many people. When it first opened, there was even a line of people waiting for a while. It seems that was the case too. I see. From the past to the present and into the future, I will walk through the streets of Gunsei Town Center and introduce it to you. Even in Omatsu, the exploration group will keep having fun. Since Taku-san is making the videos, please be sure to subscribe to the channel. That's how it is. I'm at the nearest station to the Guntai Town Center in Amagasaki City, Hyogo Prefecture. I've arrived at Inadera Station on the Hanshin line. As for this place, only local trains stop at Inadera Station. It's a conveniently accessible place, about 10 minutes from Osaka Umeda. From here, it's about a 5-minute walk, or maybe a bit more if you walk slowly, maybe around 10 minutes. But the station sign says it's a 5-minute walk, so let's just go with what it says. 5 minutes. Tochinami. By the way, Tenjinbashi Suji Station 2 stops ahead has Tenjinbashi Q's Mall. 1 stop further is Ion Mall Itami. There are several large commercial facilities lined up together. Now, let me briefly explain the walk from the station to the destination until the military town center opens. First, about the opening. It was a single group centered around Parco, Koei Yuseibu department store, and Senkart that showed rapid expansion during the bubble period that opened this facility. After the bubble economy burst, the group faced a management crisis and disbanded. Each of those brands was sold off, companies took ownership, and the group ceased to exist. It's amazing that the name still remains today, don't you think? Entrepreneur Aizumi Shoji proposed the concept of a street walk, urban-suburban type facilities. The Seibu department store was placed on the former site of the Tsukiji Maker's military factory in each store area. It opened in 1985. This opening occurred just before the bubble period, which is generally said to be around 1986, 1987, and 1991. Now it's known as Gunsei Town Center, but originally it opened as something different. The name Tsukashin was actually the project name before it opened. It stands for New Town Development and Expansion. It's an abbreviation for the city. The name Tsukashin has become established, especially among many people in the Kansai region. It gives the impression of being a familiar name, not an English name or a fancy one, but rather a simple 4-character Japanese name, which is probably why it became so widely accepted. So since there was extra space, it felt a bit unreasonable and rushed, but we've arrived. There was a faded color in front of the entrance. The signboard says, "Delicious, fun, and tasty Tsukashin." Now this area is called the Roman Chic Plaza. For some reason, there's a fountain set up right in front of you, and water comes out of the lion's mouth. With this kind of atmosphere, I'm hoping there will be my absolute favorite blowfish skewers inside. On the left side, it's really, so if you look at it, it's like a department store from the Seibu Hayakaten era or like the Higashimachi South Hall. It really looks like a department store. I'm looking at the exterior. And then the building of Higashimachi North Hall standing on the right side is quite unique. This whole facility is really distinctive. It seems to be modeled after the rows of Augsburg buildings in the German city of Augsburg, which is a sister city of Amagasaki. Despite not feeling like a commercial facility, this place exudes a unique atmosphere. Before entering, let's view the entire place from above. With the courtyard at the center, the eastern half is called Higashimachi and the western half is called Nishimachi. Higashimachi is further divided into the north and south sections, while Nishimachi consists mainly of two-story buildings and has become a large commercial facility. Higashimachi has a wide road in front, giving it a lively atmosphere. In contrast, Nishimachi has a quiet residential area that spreads out. There is a two-story building with a pedestrian deck between Higashimachi and Nishimachi. You can easily come and go. This time there are a lot more explanations compared to the usual videos, so please keep that in mind. Let's get started. Upon entering, I'm amazed. It's incredible. This is the highest atrium. Stepping inside makes you feel like you're in Germany despite never having been there. It has that classic theme park flavor, or rather Hariboti-san, in a good way that brings out a nice taste. I visited on a weekday, but there are way more people here than on a regular day off. It's amazing. As you venture deeper, you suddenly encounter a blast zone, followed by another. The double blast zones are so impressive that I nearly forgot to breathe. That's how it was. This place has a distinctly German feel to it, which is really refreshing even though I've never been to Germany. In one corner there's a German-style Augsburg corner set up. It seems that this corner was set up to recreate the city and its streets, sis. Areas with shops are standard commercial facilities. It feels a bit strange, but as I walk through the store, I'll talk about the history up to the present. Tsukashin's concept is walking through the streets with an open mind. It was also said that it was called a lifestyle amusement park. It's not just a department store. Local small shops are at the heart of the shopping mall's concept. The facility also features street shops, outdoor amusement parks, movie theaters, cinemas, and even planetariums, making it a complex commercial establishment. By the way, Higashimachi Kitakan was built, and on the site, the Prince Hotel of the West Group was also constructed. There were plans for it and it was supposed to happen, but ultimately it was cancelled. It appears they had plans until the department store's closure, as evidenced by a signboard that was apparently put up. The main attraction was the rare monorail elevator, which was a big hit with customers and things progressed smoothly. Just riding the elevator was enough to create lines of people waiting at times. You can still ride it today, so I tried it again. Usually, elevator lifts like this are installed on sloped land, such as buildings on hills or mountains. But this place is unique because it's a flat area, like a residential amusement park. I can understand why they installed the elevator lift here. It's probably meant as a kind of attraction, something to entertain people. But the elevator lift was rare and valuable, so I decided to try it out and went up the slope. Maybe it's because of the unique features of the elevator. The movement was slow and not very user-friendly, and it didn't work well. It was a commercial facility that prioritized various leisure features, but it ended up being the opposite. I thought one trip would be enough, but I got tired quickly and ended up feeling exhausted. The store's proximity to established department stores in Osaka's central Umeda and Minami areas was notable even before its opening. The redevelopment of the southern part of Tennoji progressed, intensifying competition with other commercial facilities, and as a result, customer traffic dropped significantly and sales declined sharply. That's what happened. Even so, it's not all bad. It's not like everything is completely hopeless. We're just being lumped together with other incidents that are called Itoman incidents or financial scandals. To put it simply, Itoman was a trading company at the time, and people started to associate it with those who represented the bubble economy. With just a forged signature, billions of yen flowed into the underworld. There were various other things as well. Apparently, the fake painting deal was the main issue. This incident caused quite a stir in Japan at the time. When conducting the fake painting deal, it was reported that at the Seibu Hayakaten Ikebukuro new store art department, a fake appraisal certificate was being issued under a false name. As a result, Ikebukuro new store became the stage for this incident. Although nothing particularly bad happened, it greatly damaged the store's image. Consequently, peak sales plummeted from 180 million yen to 80 million yen, a significant drop. There's no way to stop the decline in sales. Nishibe reduced the sales floor area in September 2002 to one-third of what it had been. They changed to a format where they opened a single tenant store in the building on the south side of Higashimachi. To match this, Super Co-op Kobe-Daiso Uniqlo is now called Ideon. Midori Denka and others have newly opened, and the name of the building is now Ribbon-kan. It has re-emerged as a shopping center with an exterior similar to the old one, but it hasn't had much of an impact, and it's become just another ordinary place. Similarly, around 2002, Ion Mall Itami also opened nearby. Sales didn't change at all, and business continued to be sluggish. There was also the impact of the declining local economy. But by 320 million yen in 2004, Nishimuro-machi department store completely withdrew. Even during the peak period, sales never went into the black. They were always in the red. That's how it was. But to be honest, that's actually a rather optimistic view, I think. The military, who own the land, are entrusted with operating the facility. I never thought I would end up picking it up, but we dug up hot springs before and after withdrawing from the West. The largest Kansai hot spring with a cascading bathhouse opened on July 6, 2004. Amid the rows of German-style streets, the sudden sense of Japanese atmosphere from the unified hot spring area feels a bit out of place, but it's also interesting. They must have built it with all their might, just going straight for it. Unfortunately, the closure of the Western Hot Spring and the aging buildings have negatively impacted the image. It's not easy to fill all those empty rooms. Guest numbers continue to decline. For that reason, we started renovation work in 2005 and on April 29, 2006. From Tsukashin to Gunkei Town Center Tsukashin, we changed the name and had a grand reopening. Even if we demolished the 2-story above ground and 1-story underground East Station building and built a new 4-story above ground and 1-story underground East Town North building, sales won't necessarily increase. Since we built a new building in the middle, we also completely renovated the interiors and exteriors of the existing areas and welcomed over 100 new tenants for the grand reopening. However, just increasing the number of tenants doesn't really change anything compared to the surrounding commercial facilities. Tsukashin is trying to take on the role of a shopping street, so we hope that more local shops will open up here. Nishitake department store's opening generated much excitement and commotion. The shop owners showed some reluctance, but due to strong persuasion, they eventually agreed. Also, Nishimatsuya, which sells children's clothing, and the Starbucks and Tully's in the food court were among the new tenants. Bringing them together gave customers more choices. Similar efforts were also made. The rooftop of Higashimachi South Hall also had an outdoor area. After the store closed, the playground equipment was left there, but later a futsal court was opened. Let's take a look at this. After the closure of Seibu Hyakaten, the Ferris wheel, which had stopped operating for a long time, resumed operation, but is now limited to direct trips between the first floor and the rooftop. With this renewal, the floor area has increased by 50%. The total area is now as large as 5 Koshin stadiums. Even from an outsider's perspective, I think this is a very bold renewal. However, the military-themed renewal succeeded by differentiating itself from Daimaru, Ion Mall, and Itami, and sales have been steadily increasing since then. After that, more integrated facilities like Tenkasaka Cube Mall were added and the area continued to expand. As a countermeasure, they boldly launched courageous renewals. They completely revamped the Izakaya Street that used to be in Nishimachi, building a new two-story structure to increase the number of tenants. In addition, they carried out large-scale renovations of the food court and have continued to renew the facility regularly, even after 2010. They still run the facility in a manner that ensures an endless supply of discussion topics. Personally, my favorite spot is the area between Higashimachi and Nishimachi. The courtyard here also feels very German. There's a bench where you can enjoy the view, with trees and a small river flowing by. It's just perfect. And over here, there's a spacious area with a fountain called the Carrion Garden. It's nothing short of amazing. Many people who enjoy commercial facilities have a particular fondness for Tsukashin based on what I've heard. You can really taste it, and it definitely has that homemade feel. The row of German-style streets leaves a lasting impression, offering a once-in-a-lifetime sight. Even the food court had that German vibe. Japanese shops and German streets. It feels like a strange mismatch. No matter where I went, I thought there would be a lot of people, but there were also areas that seemed to be left alone. I really love these kinds of quirky commercial facilities. They really speak to my heart. That's the outside of the shops in this western town. The tent area looks nice, but the empty tents really stand out. Almost all the stores were outside, maybe that's why, but I want to let you know in the comments if you know the reason. For some reason, empty tenant spaces are being filled. For example, there were company offices inside. On the other hand, the lack of people is due to this area. Everywhere else there were a lot of people. And finally, as for the car height, I'm medium high. Even among the Japanese population, people from Kichijoji are quite rare, so you might be able to do things like an ace futsal in Kichijoji, but even people who aren't residents use the elevator and go up as they please. This hasn't been renovated, it's just as it was back then. Back in the department store days, it used to stop at every floor from the 1st to the 8th. As a remnant of that, above the elevator entrance, there's a display showing the floors from the 1st to the 8th. The letters on the buttons inside the elevator have disappeared, but there are still 8 buttons. When I pressed the button, the door closed and the elevator started moving. I recorded it on video before and uploaded it. This is a ride on the elevator car at Newtown Nishinomiya, which I previously introduced in a video. It seems like it might fall, which is scary, but it doesn't, which is amazing. The speed is pretty slow, and it takes more than a minute to reach the 8th floor non-stop. It feels solidly built inside, and it seems to be used as it is, without any renovations, as a Yoshiko futsal court. It can't be helped, so nothing can be done about it. There was a household air conditioner installed. The pungent odor made me do a double take, confirming it was a household air conditioner. Though installed, it wasn't in good condition, giving the impression of an old, long-standing apartment building. Well, I'll go in now. Since it wasn't an empty space, it felt a bit cramped and awkward. Since I have a fear of heights, I was so scared that my hands were sweating and I couldn't do anything. So that's the end of my introduction to Gunsei Town Center. In the video you can see how luxurious the facilities are for people. I'm pleased that Gunsei, the operating company after Seibu department store's closure, has maintained its efforts and determination. Although it's my first visit, I'm really enjoying this place, which was once a commercial facility. However, some of the buildings are already 40 years old. In response to the aging condition, they are rebuilding. I'm not sure if we'll see the same strong spirit as before or how they'll respond, but I'm looking forward to it. I also thought that I'd like to visit again during an event if possible. That's all for this video. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel. Please subscribe and give a high rating. That's all from Matsumatsu's exploration team. See you in the next video.